Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the OD Sportscast. I'm your host, Dak.
And I'm Oliver.
And today we got another NBA playoff edition episode. This time looking at the second round of the NBA playoffs. But first, let's take it away real quick before the playoffs. On Sunday, the Portland Fire had their first ever home game. Well, not like official like regular season, but preseason home opener in over 25 years. Can you believe that? 25 years.
Yeah, I mean,
And
pretty long amount of time,
right? And so, guess who was there? That's part of this wonderful podcast. Me. I had decided to buy tickets as a surprise for my grandma's birthday. And so I was like, since the women are coming back into play, why don't I go see them? And so that's what I did. Bought 3 tickets in the 200 row 209, which wasn't bad. And it was great. And here are some of my takeaways from the game between the Fire and the Los Angeles Spark. Of course, Los Angeles Spark are the better team, obviously. They've been around longer, and they had more time to go through the off-season process and drafting and signing the free agents. Most notably, Kelsey Plum, who just left, I think, the Aces the season prior, so now she's in Los Angeles. But yeah, so they kind of whooped her ass, but hey, I said I wasn't going to complain if we only lost by 10, and guess what? We only lost by 10, so I'm pretty damn well happy about that. But some critiques I do have are that I feel like, yes, we're still trying to find our team chemistry. That's going to take a long time. Of course, we're one of the 2 new teams in the WNBA. And each team is going to take like years and years down the road to, make up for team chemistry. And so the Portland Fire is one of them. Didn't like how much during the first half, we kind of were slacking on rebounds. We did pick up the rebounds in the second half. Actually, we beat them in rebounds in the game. But we were kind of sluggish in that first half of rebounds and kind of just chucking it all over the place and being like, well, why are we throwing out of bounds? What the hell are we doing? But then we kind of found our groove just a tiny bit with some of our players in the second half. We made up, like I said, for the rebounds and all that. But in the second half, my other critique is that we sucked at closeouts. Like, anytime we would do trap defense. I don't know if you've ever seen an NBA where they do trap defense on the half court, like beyond half court.
They tend to do that when the game's in its final minutes.
Yeah.
And then just in the burnt clock and stuff.
Yeah. So what Portland did was we went automatically into trap defense, half court line, and then went back to man, and then we would then proceed to double with another player involved, and then it would leave another shooter open on the perimeter, and we're like, what are we doing? Like, we can't leave these shooters open. They're way more experienced than we are at shooting the 3-ball. They're pretty deadly when it comes to shooting the 3-ball. And so I was kind of slightly disappointed in that. I was like, why are we leaving these people open if, I get that we get to do trap defense beyond half court because you want to try to have them turn over the ball and then we cut for a fast break. But, I don't like that we kept them open because they could shoot. It's not a good idea to leave shooters open.
Yeah.
Honestly, I enjoyed the game. Some interesting things compared to the NBA, obviously, is how the NBA is kind of it's more strategic and slower paced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more dead time, especially near the end of games.
Yeah. With the WNBA, here's what's interesting. Instead of them playing 12-minute quarters, they shave off 2 minutes of the quarter, so they'll play about 4 quarters for 10 minutes. And it's more fast-paced basketball since there's less dead time. And I kind of like that, honestly. I mean, comparing that to when you leave a Blazers game and a Fire game, you get out a lot earlier than you would for a Blazers game. Like the Blazers game, last Blazers game that I went to with, I think, you and Tyler.
It was the playoff game.
Was the playoff game. Well, of course, we didn't get home until like at least I didn't go home until like 2 in the in the morning.
We were out doing stuff after. The game tipped off at 7:30, and the game probably ended around 10:30, which is pretty damn late.
Pretty damn late, yeah.
For most people.
For most people, and so then we unpack that, and you would think, oh yeah, we're gonna just take, our friend will take us home, or you'll take public transportation home. No, we had other plans that night. But I mean, usually, depending on what time the tip-off game is like pretty big. Like Blazers game, you don't get home until then. And of course, more of a bigger crowd, so you wouldn't actually hear players think or like the ball bouncing. Compared to the Fire game, there's a decent amount of people that actually showed up. I read a tweet somewhere where it was an attendance record, not attendance record, attendance total of 13,355. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty damn good for over 25 years of women's basketball not being in Portland.
Yeah, and I mean we should consider, one, it's a preseason game, so technically this doesn't even really count. No. And I'm sure attendance numbers will be bigger for the opening night.
That's what
for
I'm
the
thinking.
Real season. Yeah. But also, just a personal thing, Dak, I was doing something at the park that day, so I couldn't attend the game. I'm not going to go into the details on here, but I was on the Max like during the time when everyone was starting to enter the arena. It was 100% packed with people wearing Portland Fire jerseys, and I mean, it felt on par with the attendance before like a regular season Blazer game.
Yeah.
For that time of day. True. So I'm glad about the Portland Fire. Again, we'll see when the season is underway. I'm sure the crowds will die down a little bit, but I mean, I don't know. I believe in the Portland Fire fan base. It is my personal goal sometime within the next month or so to watch a Portland Fire game. I'm sure my mom would enjoy doing that. So even
like
if it's not
attending one.
Yeah, attending a game, and I'll watch whatever the next game is on TV. I think that's later this week.
Our first regular season opener is this Friday, I believe, the 9th.
Oh, it's this Friday.
It's this Friday against Chicago. And yeah, I mean, and we have a Grammy Award-winning performer that's performing at the halftime. So that would be
who's
interesting.
That? I'm just curious.
Her name was, let's see here, some female artist. Let me take a look here. Yeah, they're definitely putting in the work. The home opener is Ashanti and Justice Sky.
I've heard of Justice Sky, so I mean, I bet I'm busy this Friday. In fact, I'm actually pretty busy on the weekends for the next couple of weeks, but it is my goal, my goal is to watch at least one Portland Fire game this season. Although, I will probably watch multiple, I'll catch it on TV if I can. Again, I'm really busy on Friday, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it, and we'll kind of correlate it with Tyler.
We'll talk about more WNBA.
So, yeah, 100%. Like, the fact that women's basketball in Portland is starting to get a huge movement, because if you compare that to over 20 years ago, the movement then wasn't that big to how it is now, and we live in an age where I think not just the male audience, but everyone all together can just appreciate that you have more basketball time during the summer than you would during the NBA's regular season, which is during like the winter and fall. Because right now, for example, Blazers are in Cancun. There's no Blazers basketball until next September. And so, to see we have another basketball team that you can watch throughout the summer is excellent. And for anybody that has the time, I highly recommend that. But yeah, and I mean, fun fact about Chicago, the Chicago Sky, Oliver, I know you haven't seen reports about this, but they've been cleaning house. And what do I mean by that? They just waived Haley Van Lilith, their 12th overall pick in last year's draft. They drafted her in the first round. And then they proceeded to also waive two of their first round picks this year. So they're out there cleaning house. And then this offseason, they also traded Angel Reese to Atlanta. And so I'm wondering, Chicago Sky fans, what are we doing, man?
I'm sure the fans aren't happy about that. It's clear that the Sky are just completely folding.
They really are.
You wouldn't see teams in the NBA doing stuff like that, I don't think. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it could pan out again in the future. We'll see. We'll see about that. Yeah, and I'm not too knowledgeable on the WNBA, but I mean, now that the Portland Fire is a thing, it sparked my interest. And during the summer, I'm gonna spend some time in it because you're right. There's not gonna be any NBA content, any Blazer basketball until October.
Yeah.
Or I guess September, or even freaking Summer League.
Yeah.
If anyone cares about that, but yeah, I think the future's bright for the W, and
not just in Portland, also Toronto.
In general.
Yeah, just in general. I mean, you got more teams coming to the league within the next few seasons. So
yeah, and Toronto was the other team that got added.
Mm-hmm.
So to the folks in Canada, enjoy your WNBA team. We're enjoying ours.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, those are some of my takeaways for the Portland Fire. Definitely will be now attending with the rest of my friends, so we'll correlate with Tyler later on.
We'll correlate, and I mean, we'll see what the regular season brings.
Yes. So on to other news. The NBA has, I think, found their staple. Or no, sorry, correction. Let's talk about the New York Knicks Hawks game. This was from the first round. I thought I would put it in there. But the New York Knicks, I was astonished when I saw the notification that night. The New York Knicks beat the Atlanta Hawks, and guess by how much, wonderful viewers? Hold on. Is it A, 10 points? Is it B, 20 points? Is it C, 40 points? Or is it D, 50 points?
It's D. I can attest to that.
50 points! Can we talk about that for a second?
What? Well, it might have actually been 49, but I mean...
49.
That's an awful blowout for the fucking...
Yeah, I mean, like, okay. How should we view this? Like, now that the Atlanta Hawks are eliminated, what do we see them doing this offseason, Oliver? Do you think that they continue the direction of trying to retain CJ McCollum because he's set to be a free agent? Or do you see them going out into a different direction to build around Jalen Johnson?
Well, I mean, I did have this. I mean, I had the biased viewpoint of them actually causing a ruckus in the playoffs. But I mean, the 2 wins they did get were within 1 point because CJ clutched up. So I think it's safe to say I think they are on the level of a playing team just overall like they have been. Like they're on the level of the current Blazers. They're not particularly any better. I think they just went on a crazy run in the regular season and that's how they got where they are. And it's great that they managed to take 2 games. But I think I feel like I kind of got proven wrong because I remember you said this on episode 1, but the Knicks are a force to be reckoned with. And I guess I didn't quite listen, but whatever. Yeah, or no, it was 51. I stand correct. I stand corrected. I thought it was 49. Anyway, what should they do? Well, I think the fact that they were able to get the 6th seed in the first place is not any indicator that they should just tear the whole thing down. I think I would consider them. They should probably be buying. I think they should try and retain CJ. They could probably get him for a cheaper contract than he gets right now, and they could maybe free up money to make big trade move in the offseason. Get some like mid-level star. I think they probably need a better center.
Yes, right now they have Okeka Okongwu as their starter.
Yeah.
A little bit undersized.
They're an undersized roster, and it didn't match well with Karl Anthony Towns. Although besides him, the New York is also pretty small. But regardless, I think what they should do is they should try and get CJ on a cheaper contract if they can, and he could be a good shooter and playmaker, possibly off the bench if he regresses a lot, and then they should make a trade for a better center. I don't think they should completely tear everything down by trading all their stars. And
right. Because you want to build around Jalen Johnson.
They want to build around Jalen Johnson, who's still young and has time to grow. But also, I don't think they should go full on like what the Clippers did in 2019 and trade all of their picks for a supposed superstar. I'm of the belief that that's not always a great idea. I mean, listen, if I was like a GM, like I kind of had this philosophy, like whenever I do 2K, I'm always methodical. I always like to take my time when it comes to rebuilds and not just throw all of our shit at some random team and I feel like I'm kind of throwing shade at which I guess this could be a good segue. Because I don't think you have it on your list. The Blazers have been discussing off-season moves. We've talked about the Giannis possible trade, which I still believe we should not do it because we're not really in the need of front court offense. Because if we had Giannis in DC, that would be a stacked front court, but they would need to. But that just completely, we would have to trade away someone who's at least semi good at shooting. We'd have to trade away Scoot, which is such a valuable asset.
And it's interesting because we live in such an era right now in Blazers Blazers history right now that we have to keep in mind here. Like I read somewhere that going into next year, Dame and Denny, two of our biggest stars heading into next season, are only getting paid $13 million.
True. You're right about that, and we got to take advantage of how cheap our team is.
Yes.
For the time being, which is
sure, combining that together, that's about $26 million. But I mean, right now we're at a fragile state where we are in the position, and if Tom Dundon's willing, he's said on record that he's willing to pay over the luxury tax, or into it if it means to get another caliber All-Star player to compare with our young core and Dame and Denny.
Yeah, and take advantage of the low salary while we can. And I mean, I know the trade rule. I will say this now, but the trade and contract rules in the NBA are so fucking complicated. It goes over my head a little bit. But they have the opportunity to do it. Should it be honest, I feel like they would. The Bucks would want so much shit from us.
I feel like
we gave them. Like when we did the Dame trade, we gave up a lot. We gave up Lillard, we gave up a couple of our other players, and it was a part of a 3-team trade. And we only got 4 picks. We got Drew, who we immediately traded away. We got Jumani, which is a big
I'm looking at the trade real fast.
But at the time, it wasn't that good.
Okay, so according to this, Blazers traded Lillard to play with, Portland got Drew Holiday, who's still now on the team.
Yeah, but they immediately traded him away at the time.
DeAndre Ayton, who played 2 seasons for us, and then we sent him to, I think it was Phoenix? It was
LA, wasn't it?
It was LA. And then Oliver's favorite player, Tamani Kamara. And then we got Milwaukee's picks in return, which were both unprotected in 29, 28, and 2030. Wow, so 3. And then, it was a 3-way team trade. And then the Suns got Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, Keon Johnson, and then of course, yeah. So basically, the Bucks gave up more in the Dame trade. So yeah, you are correct on that.
So my point is that if we were to try and get Giannis, which I think he's still in his prime, but if it is his prime, it's like his final year of his prime. He's only because he's 31, so he probably only has 4 years of his career that's good left. But still, I think the Bucks would just want to. Whoever gets him to trade up a lot, and that either means we'd have to take away all of our picks and 3 of our players. We'd probably have to give up Jeremy. We'd have to give up Scoot or Shaden interchangeably, and it'd have to give up someone like Tumani maybe. I don't know, and 5 draft picks if it's a straight up trade, or it could be part of a multi-team trade, which who knows how that would go. But I think we should go for a star, but I don't think Giannis is the right pick. We should go for a better shooting guard, I'd say. We'll have Dame, and I think Scoot. Assuming we trade for a better guard, I think he would be a great 6-man for us.
Mm-hmm.
And
here's how I view it. Is I feel like this whole Giannis business is that it feels like it's more likely to happen, and here's why I say that is because I've also been seeing that not just Giannis, but his brothers including, all followed Thiago Splitter, who's our current head coach. And I'm
I did not know that.
And I'm like, oh no.
God, but day by day it seems more likely. I'm still kind of in the nothing ever happened stage. I'm no, this isn't gonna happen.
Well,
I think Tom Dundon said this. It would have to be under the condition that Giannis re-signs with us when the time comes. I mean, I don't think just based
it's like
off
people
of...
are fantasy booking this it's just absolutely wild.
Well, I mean, okay, I'll stop beating around the bush. What I was mainly going to talk about is the other star that I think we almost traded for the trade deadline this year was Anthony fucking Davis.
Yeah, which was
like
bad idea.
He was like 35 years old and only plays 10 games a season.
Yeah.
And he's on like a crazy fucking contract, so he would have to give up as much salary as Giannis pretty much. And I mean, well, this would have been during the trade deadline, so it would have been the Mavericks, which I mean we've known from the past they're a pretty questionable franchise. But even if we were to somehow try it again in the offseason, which if that happens this offseason, we trade for Anthony Davis, I might consider just fucking abandoning this team. Like, holy shit. I think that is the worst idea in the world. That's like if the San Antonio Spurs, which are like the youngest, newest, freshest face on the block that is already a 2 seed and is already in the second round of the NBA playoffs, trading Victor Wembanyama for like Jokic, who also probably only has like 4 years of peak left, or not even what's like a decent but not MVP level like old dude.
I was gonna say
I don't fucking know.
I was gonna say Brook Lopez.
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis.
Could you imagine that? That's like even worse than Luka. My point is like you should not. Don't trade your young core, even if it does involve older pieces.
Well, and here's
for an old guy that'll only play half the fucking season.
Here's the tricky part about Giannis is that we all know how Giannis is going to be and how he likes to play with his brothers, right? I feel like he's going to be bitching at us if we don't include like one of his brothers in the trade, and then he'll be like, "Oh, I don't want to play here anymore," and it's like, well, boo-hoo. We only want you. We don't want your brothers because your brothers stink.
I mean, I will say this: Giannis as a person kind of irks me a little bit. But I would imagine that one of his brothers would be a part of the deal, unless the team in whatever Giannis trade happens just ends up tearing the whole thing apart and even trading like the other pieces.
Something that I wouldn't fully rule out is, and this is crazy to think, what about if Portland went after Ja Morant?
That is something I could get behind, actually. The Memphis would most likely do it, I imagine. They're probably... Although, I mean, listen, I don't really give a shit about Memphis. I don't follow them as a team. But I know
Let's go.
They've had their run earlier this decade, but it obviously hasn't worked out, and now they're in the shitter. So would they do it? Probably not. I don't think they would want to trade Ja this offseason, but I mean, if we get the call, I'll answer.
So you would if you were the GM of the Blazers, you would definitely buy into trading for Ja Morant.
I would trade Ja for like 3 picks, Jeremy, and like Shaden maybe. I can accept that.
Okay.
Although I don't know how good of a player he's been. He's been out for a lot of the season though, but that's probably because the Memphis is trying to tank.
Yeah.
And they're glorifying his injuries.
They sidelined him out for the rest of the season after that. No, and I wouldn't hate doing Ja because Ja can be one of those explosive players on a new team if he's just given the right pieces. And I feel like if he fits right, he would fit right into Portland's playbook. He can be back to like 2022, 2021 Ja Morant, being explosive, attacking the basket, even shooting the 3-ball. Like, I miss that Ja Morant, and we haven't seen much of that for about the past 3 seasons. But I know he can go, if he can dig deep down enough, he could do that. I could definitely see us doing this trade.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in a tough spot being on the Grizzlies. Like, again, I know the Grizzlies were actually pretty good like 3 years ago, but I mean, they choke it in the playoffs, and now for the past 2 or so years, they've just been shit. And I mean, he's still pretty young. He's hot from 3, you know. We need a guy like him. But again, I just don't know if Memphis is willing to do that yet.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. Another person I'm thinking of for Portland, I have like 2 in mind. One of them, I'm not really big on this one, but I've been hearing people talking about Zion. I'm kind of conflicted about Zion, just because it's not the weight issue anymore. It's just more of his stamina on the court. Like, he runs out of stamina so fast as a big.
I mean, yeah, I know he's thinned up in the past, and I mean, he's a decent player.
More muscle.
Bad jump scare. Anyway, I don't know much about Zion as a player, but I think that would be, again. I just feel like if we're gonna shop, we need to shop for someone who would be a good, like, would be a CJ to Dame in a sense. Although, I mean, that's a whole other conversation. How good
You also probably just don't want a ball dominant guard as well.
No, we don't, because I'm sure Lillard is still
going to be ball dominant and wants the ball in his hands.
I mean, well, because what we've been seeing from him is that we haven't seen any actual gameplay from him, obviously, and I imagine he's going to regress. I imagine him being like a secondary outside scorer, like he will still nail threes, and I could still see him being a decent playmaker, kind of like how Drew is. Like he would replace that type of role. So I feel like we kind of. I don't know.
I mean, the one other person I'm thinking of, and I'm kind of interested to see what your takeaway on this is Devin Booker.
Devin Booker, I don't. Will the Suns do that? I don't.
Probably not, but I mean, hypothetically.
Well, again, they've kind of. I mean, Devin Booker's been the Suns. He's been the face of the franchise since he's been drafted, like what 8 or 9 years ago.
Yes,
whenever that was. But like the Suns have had multiple chances to try and make it, but it hasn't worked. And I mean, they have been embarrassed this season. Like.
Yeah.
The Blazers beat them in a choker in the play-in, and they got swept in the playoffs.
Yep.
And everyone, I mean, this is just a moment where we're boasting and shit, but like everyone said that they were the favorites, and I mean they were, but they couldn't finish it when it mattered, and they just haven't had great pieces surrounding him, I suppose. So I don't think they would trade him, but Devin Booker would fucking fit amazing on our team, I think.
Yeah, it would be definitely interesting to see if that were to ever happen. If I were Phoenix, and if I got the right picks and or players for it, I would definitely pick up the phone, because I feel personally, if I were a Suns fan, I feel like if I were Devin Booker, I would want to get out of there, because you're not really building a decently good team around him anymore. I mean, yes and no. I mean, yes, you still have. Who do you guys have? You guys have Jalen Green still, which is most likely going to be traded this offseason. You have
Dylan Brooks. Is like the third guy.
Dylan Brooks is the third guy.
Let me take a look. Yeah, I mean, not much help.
Not much help.
Jalen Green, we have Grayson Allen, I suppose. Colin Gillespie, I guess. Whatever.
Colin Gillespie?
Yeah.
And they also have Mark Williams, but his contract's about to expire.
They don't have, I mean, from what it seems, they don't have that much big help.
Yeah.
So maybe they could be buying, but I just don't see them tearing the whole thing apart and trading Devin Booker. I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, I don't think, yeah.
No.
Probably not.
They're probably going to trade one of their secondary guys, probably Brooks or Green, for who's like a medium level star, to try and get someone else, and then they're going to probably run it back, and it's probably not going to work. That's my prediction. They're probably going to stay playing. That's my prediction.
As a middle ground team,
I think they're going to stay
above average.
They're going to stay like hovering play-in territory, and kind of like where they are now, I imagine. I don't know, but I just don't see them tearing the whole thing apart. That's my point.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Right. Well, I mean, we could always talk about hypothetical.
We could talk about off-season stuff all day, but
yeah, but
we still got a lot of playoff basketball to cover.
Yes, one thing that we're going to move over to real fast is the NCAA. We're going to move it over to college. First time we're talking about college basketball on the pod.
Since March Madness, of course.
March Madness, yes. The NCAA has made a pretty big move for for March Madness. The NCAA has announced that they're set to move the tournament, basketball tournaments are set to move to 76 teams instead of the whatever the current standard issue is. It will be interesting to see how this will come about, but I mean, the fact that more college to be part of March Madness than it is now kind of will put a really big aspect into things. Don't you think, Oliver?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the fucking March Matt. I guess I'll jump the gun and tell you my thoughts, but 76 teams seems a bit random. I'm looking up an image of what a 76 team bracket could look like, and it seems really random. Like it's only like there's like a play-in round, but there's like 3 play-in matches for each of the 4 conferences, and I'm like, at least make it 4 or something. Like 76 is such a random number, although there's probably a reason for it. 76 teams will be fun for all the borderline schools, and I feel like March Madness has always been one of those events that's always like the whole point is like how grand it is. Like it's 64 teams, like 5 rounds, right? Yeah, for something like that. I cannot do math in my head. But several rounds, a bunch of teams from all over, including all the small teams, and the whole story of like it's one game. Can the small guy do it? And that gives more teams an opportunity to be shown on national television. So I think it'll be really fun, but I just feel like they'll probably have the logistics down. It kind of feels like it'd be a nightmare to deal with. And it's probably just I don't know the logistics. I'm for it, I would say. It'll be fun, but I don't know. It kind of icks me a bit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there'll. Also, 76. 76 is such a weird number. They should do.
Why specifically 76, you know?
They should do like 80.
80.
Where it's at least like 4 play-in matches conference.
Yeah.
That's a lot more aesthetically pleasing in my opinion. But they have a reason for 76, and whatever, I'll let it happen. No, it would be 84, I think.
84.
80,
yeah, we can't really critique them, I guess, too much in the way of of them doing that, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We'll move on to a former NBA player. Former NBA player Damian Jones has pleaded guilty in the gambling case. So he's one of the few people we had mentioned or is part of this whole gambling suit that the FBI has launched into the NBA. You know, because former Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups was part of this. He's also pleaded not guilty as we are currently recording this. There's no update on that, obviously. But it's interesting. He's the first one to plead guilty to this, and very interesting. And it kind of puts an aspect into things. You know, I mean, I just imagine these people and how their families are thinking and what they're going through during this time must be very challenging. I mean, Damian Jones quoted said, "I would like to sincerely apologize to the court, my family, my peers, and also the National Basketball Association." So, I mean, it's kind of heartbreaking to see former players who were gambling years and years ago. It finally catches up with them, and then it finally just goes, pretty sad. But, I mean, it really puts it into aspect of things of like, what happens if Chauncey Billups gets, acquitted and is found guilty? What would people think, and what would his legacy be?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad. He brought it upon himself to fucking do this gambling. I feel for his family and stuff. If he was found guilty of this, then I think logic would say that the others are probably guilty. So I think it's safe to say Chauncey's not going to touch a position in the NBA again, and we can comfortably say goodbye to Chauncey. Good riddance. I mean, I guess. I guess the takeaway is that we need to be stricter about gambling in sports. I've made this vocal on the podcast before, but I'm not a big fan of gambling. And it's been invading all aspects of sports. And I just want to be a viewer that doesn't have to worry about and be like, oh, what's the spread like? Whatever, insert random gambling term, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what the others. We'll see what the sensing or oh my god, my brain's blanking. What happens to the others involved?
Yeah, definitely. And I've made this vocal too that I'm also not a big fan of the whole gambling thing. Why are we bringing the fan experience of like gambling. That's what I.
It makes money.
Get.
It makes money. A lot of
Kolshi could do this. Kolshi could do shut up, bro.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that I was saying earlier that I hated Giannis, because he fucking during the whole straight saga he was like, "We all on Kalshi," when it's clear that he was actively being funded. He was actively making money due to all the rumors that he was complicit in.
Yeah, what the heck?
He's like, what if that happens? Like, what if the Bucks are just stubborn as hell and won't give him up in the offseason? So the whole thing just fucking happens again.
Yeah, and then it's like, yes, the predictions for Kashi, which team do you guys think I'll go to? It's like, do we really give a shit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to complain more, but like, their fucking ads piss me off. They call,
I hate that so
much. We trade on everything. It's trading.
It pisses me off so much because, like, I would just sit back and, like, late at night wanting to go to sleep or watch a nice little YouTube video, right? And then all of a sudden my YouTuber says, yes, today's video is sponsored by Koshi. I'm like, no.
Did you know you can make money on if it rained last night?
Fucking Koshi, bro. Come on.
Anyway, okay. Enough about gambling, but I mean,
bullshit about that. But yeah,
I'm not gonna say I feel bad for Damon or anyone else involved in the gambling case. The fact that it was like a fucking whole mafia thing. Like, if you're involved with the mafia, even if you're like,
this isn't 1960s NBA anymore. This is 2020s NBA.
Yeah, it's not like what happened at like one of the World Series like 80 years ago.
God.
God, whatever.
Anyways, but yeah, should we move on to should we move on to what the league is very strongly in favor of their anti-tanking rules?
Oh yeah, the anti-tanking.
All right, Oliver, I'll let you take this away. What do you think about the current anti-tanking rules? The league has proposed, and I think they are agreeing on the 3-2-1 lottery. This includes expanding the lottery to 16 teams, setting odds in a regulation zone. The bottom 3 teams would be penalized with fewer lottery balls for the number 1 overall pick, starting in the 2027 draft.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say it right now. I think this is a horrible idea. First of all, they expanded the draft to include more teams. I'm fine with this. Basically, generally I'm all right with it, because I said during the episode we were doing like the original solutions that I think my ideal solution is to expand and slightly flatten the odds. And that's generally what's happening here. Having the 16 team lottery and I'm assuming it's 16 teams to line up with the new expansion happening.
So I'll explain a little bit here. So yeah, it would expand from 14 to 16 teams that do not qualify for the playoffs or the play-in, but stay out of this so-called regulation zone. Spots 4 through 10 would receive 3 lottery balls each. Teams with a bottom 3 record, so basically missing the playoffs and the play-in entirely, would only get 2 lottery balls, but they have a floor of only getting the number 12th overall pick in the first round. And the rest of the 13 lottery teams could fall as far as the number 16 pick. So any team that makes the play-in, they would get 1 lottery ball each, and that would be between picks 7 and 8. And fun fact, I read more into this. You are no longer able to protect your first round picks up to pick 12. So that really puts a perspective into things. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
It seems a bit more extreme, but flattening the lottery, I'm fine with the change. I think it should just say teams play in and non-play in only, or if anything, maybe shortened a little bit. So just teams that aren't in the plan at all. But anyway, flattening, just overall the idea of flattening, I'm fine with it, because again, I feel like the whole point of the lottery is that it's a really anything can happen type of deal, where if you're part of the lottery, you can get the number 1 pick, and that's what part of it is right now, and the lower teams could slightly lower odds, just flatten it a little bit. The elephant in the room is that the fact that the bottom 3 teams get worse odds to pick the number 1, which I think that is a really dumb idea, because obviously it's not going to allow the genuine worst teams in the league, who aren't even trying to tank, they just suck, or even if they have no choice but to tank because they suck, to just get punished. And that's just going to lead to the bigger market teams dominating the entire time, and they'll have way less of a chance to actually get things going.
Yeah.
So they should just do what it is right now and don't make the chances go backward as you go up. Should, if anything, I think that the top three should just be the same as whatever the odds for the number 4 pick are. Kind of like how they are now. Now,
okay, so the ones
I understand
that have been in place since 2019.
Yeah, and I understand not wanting to make games interesting. It'll force the teams that do happen to be in the bottom 3 to actually try and win games. But at that point, if there's a line that you can straddle, then the teams that are still in the middle of the road, like the number 2 system, like is laid out in the article, they'll have incentive to go there. So again, if there's a line, there's a way to tank. Again, this isn't a perfect solution. There'll never be a perfect solution, but at least don't punish teams that are the very worst. Just I still feel like they should just make it more even, kind of like it was way back in the day. Obviously, was more measures and not completely flat, and just let that happen. That's my belief.
Okay.
I guess we'll say it while we can. The draft lottery, which will not be under this new system, obviously, is on Sunday. So we'll probably film.
Close. Jeez.
Yeah, it's already really close. So the next episode will probably be out by the time this is over.
Yeah, most likely.
It's pretty incredible.
And we'll obviously do our takeaways on that. That'll be very interesting. I'm actually kind of curious because we all know Portland's not going to be falling anywhere.
The Portland's pick's been given to the Bulls.
It was the Bulls, yeah. And the Bulls have been severely worse than we have, so who knows where they'll land. That'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah. So, do you have any thoughts on the new tanking system yourself?
It's interesting. I feel like it all just depends, really. I mean, the way I see it is that, yes, it's a good starting initiative way to try to combat the tanking, but I don't like the whole idea of this so-called regulation zone. Why do we have to separate something called a regulation zone from the play-in teams and the teams who just completely miss the playoffs entirely? If I were the bottom 5, if I were the league, I would say the bottom 5 teams who completely miss out on the playoffs and the play-in, those teams, they would each get 2 lottery balls, maybe 3. No, about 2. 2 lottery balls, and that could fall within picks of 7 to 12. And then if we were like Portland, for example, who made the play-in with Phoenix and all these other teams, I would say that they would get 1 lottery ball and have an actual chance of actually making the playoffs. But obviously they would be ranked lower in the lottery. But I would say, I think the way I would have it formatted is bottom 5, you guys have a chance to get in 2 to 3 lottery balls, and that's picks 7 through 12. And then the play-in teams get 1 lottery ball, and that's, picks 15 through 20 or something.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Just flatten the curve a little bit. The curve's still there, but it's just a little bit more subtle. But the whole regulation zone punishing teams that are bad. Yes, it's going to encourage teams to play however hard they can to avoid that. But whatever teams do end up in there are just set off worse, because eventually one of those teams will just not get the pick, and then it just goes downhill, and they'll be forever stuck, and they'll have to wait more time to get better picks, which makes the rebuild process slower. It's kind of a nightmare. So
yeah, definitely.
I disagree with that.
But yeah, should we move on to our playoffs?
Yeah, we'll end our pod with a playoff update.
So first round's completely over. Thunder beat the Suns, Lakers beat the Rockets, Nuggets got lost to the Timberwolves, Spurs beat Blazers, Pistons beat Magic, Cavaliers beat Raptors, Knicks beat Hawks, and 76ers beat the Celtics. So let me take this back to round one real fast. Let me talk about the Boston 76ers series real fast. What was your takeaway after seeing Boston having this historical collapse against, Joel Embiid and the 76ers, and Jaylen Brown later, like 2 days later, going on his Twitch and complaining, saying, Joel Embiid's a flop artist. He's a very well-known flopper, and so on and so forth. And I had saw someone on another podcast say, why is Jaylen Brown complaining? He won Finals MVP how many years ago? And how much is he getting paid? I wouldn't complain. And plus, Boston was the one that decided to sit out Jason Tatum for that game.
Yeah, I mean, the team clearly is not perfect. I'm not sure on that end why things sucked. Yes, Tatum is a part of it. They sat him out for Game 7, and I'm sure there had to have been a really good reason for him to sit out. It wasn't just, I have a minor soreness in my ankle, but I'll be fine, and I might just miss one extra shot. It has to be for a good reason, and I trust the Celtics medical staff to do that. And yes, there's a whole, if Tatum playing, they would have won Game 7, which probably true, but again, Joel Embiid missed the first 3 games, and they still managed to do the 3-1 comeback. So, I mean, injuries on both sides, but I feel like this might have been one of those cases where they kind of got a little bit too cocky. They were up 3-1. I feel like this might just be a personal judge of character, but I feel like they have a bit of an ego, those Celtics players, mainly because of what Jaylen Brown said, but also they in the regular season they were so damn good without Tatum, and the 76ers on paper look like a pretty bad team. But no, I think Joel Embiid just probably has been the most desperate in his career so far and just played out as hard as he physically could.
I honestly liked how Joel Embiid was playing. It looked like he was out for vengeance after all those years of, playing in Boston, could not get over the hump, and then he finally does. On to the second.
And I mean, hey man, they're called the process for a reason. Are they going to win a championship? Are they going to win the championship?
No.
I really don't think so.
No.
I'd be so
I'd be really shocked if they beat New York.
I guess they'll get into the next 76ers series later.
Yeah. I'll be very shocked if they beat the Knicks.
But hey, the Philly fans should celebrate, because I bet no one really predicted. I thought it'd be a sweep, but I guess it's the NBA playoffs. Really, anything could happen.
Anything
and the Celtics thought they were hot shit. So
I mean, if you thought this was only a series that was a 3-1 comeback, let's talk about the Pistons Magic series. Magic were up 3-1. What happened, Orlando? What happened? Okay, and then you go out and fire Jamal Mosley. How about them apples?
This time I think it's the Magic. I mean, I don't hate the Magic. I just don't really root for them. I was rooting for the Pistons, even though they were the 1 seed for the series.
Honestly, I'm with you on that one. I'd rather see the Pistons go further.
The Magic had their moment, but I think what came down to it is that the Pistons are a good team. They're the 1 seed for a reason, and they are a good team. Now, they're definitely a young team that kind of chokes in the playoffs, but I don't the Magic aren't that. They're not a playoff team, I don't think, or at least a deep playoff team. Paolo's a fucking great player. I think he's a good possible target for the Blazers in the offseason. That is one player that I think we could get.
Yeah,
but
that's
he's
true.
a great player.
Or even Franz.
And that is part of it. Franz got injured in, what was it? I think Game 4?
Game 4, yeah. Game 4,
so
Game
he
5.
Was that, and that probably had to do with it. They probably would have won the series if he was there, but regardless. Besides Paulo, he didn't really get much help. He just straight up didn't get much help. He scored insanely during the series, because really their strategy was just give him the ball and hope for the best. But no, the Pistons have great players all over the floor, whereas Paulo has Suggs, who is really small, and he's kind of more of a playmaker. He doesn't really score a lot. I mean, let me look at their roster real quick. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. He just didn't have much help. I guess Bane.
Yeah, and there's not really much help in the way of Orlando.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is that they don't have a good big, and Jalen Duren is a fucking crazy defensive player.
Yep.
He's like one of the closest things to Shaq in the fucking modern NBA. And I mean, Cade started out the series fairly cold, but no, he locked in. So
I mean, you would compare Jalen Duren to Shaq? Really?
No. I mean, okay, that was a bit. They're just both. They're both just like
they have the muscle.
They're both muscular who lives in the paint and has crazy interior defense.
Okay.
I think that's where the comparison is in my heart. So, I mean, there's no player like Shaq that'll ever exist in the NBA for the future, but regardless, that's so yeah. And also the Magic are famous for choking fucking everything.
Yep.
And I don't see why that'd be any different in the playoffs. But yep, the Pistons are now in round 2 and they're facing the Cavs.
They're facing the Cavs.
And I guess before we move on to an overview of round 2, we can recap the other series. I think this was the first ever postseason with 2 3-1 comebacks in the same round.
Yes. So Raptors Cavs. Yep.
Yeah, it was Pistons Magic as Celtics Sixers, but the Cavs and Raptors, they traded games. But nope, I was watching the Raptors Cavs game on the train, and I really wanted the Raptors to win. But nope, I've been noticing a theme where not the home teams, just whatever team leads at the half just massively fucking chokes.
Sounds like a team that's
happens.
Yeah.
This happened with like nearly at least one game within every one of these series, I think. Like it happened to the Blazers twice. It happened to the Raptors. It happened to the Magic, obviously. I think it happened to the Rockets at one point. It's fucking nuts. And I mean, Celtics have that because they have James Harden. They have that notoriety of being playoff chokers. They kind of beat those allegations because James Harden had a decent night compared to his other Game 7s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Raptors are a good team, but I think that the Cavs as a team are just much better. They have like 4 different stars on the team, whereas the Raptors, like, they are the underdogs and they just could pull through, unfortunately. So, and I'll bring my attention to the other thing. Game 5 of Blazers Spurs happened after our last pod. It ended in a crushing defeat. We never really took the lead. At least Scoot scored some points. But Shaedon Sharpe played only 6 minutes. I think what that's telling me is that they want to trade him in the offseason. That's what I'm getting out of that. Or maybe it's still injury, but I don't know. He looks fine. Regardless, that's done. I don't know if this was after or before the last pod, but both Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo got injured. Dante continued the number 0 curse and tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
And Ant hurt his knee, but he came back for game 1 of Spurs Timberwolves yesterday.
And they won.
And I think, and they won. I think if I remember correctly, Jokic kind of crashed out after like game 6.
Yeah.
Or game 5.
Yeah.
One of the last.
It was game 6. He crashed out.
He crashed out because it's something Jaden McDaniels like scored the ball when no one else was playing.
Yeah, it's kind of it's like a common courtesy after the game where, out of respect, you don't really necessarily do that.
That is kind of a petty thing to do, but like, it's showboating. Don't really blame it. This is the second year in a row that the Timberwolves have upset the 3 seed, so whatever.
True.
I remember the last time when the Lakers were up 3-0, I said, the Lakers are most likely going to win the game tonight, and I was wrong. The Lakers almost lost 3-0, and I'm going to be honest, I was kind of rooting for that to happen. I kind of just felt like a hater, and I wanted to see that happen, but no, the Lakers did win in 6, but I think what happened is the Rockets team kind of woke up, but then the Lakers team was like, and also Austin Reeves came back, and that was part of it. So I guess good on the Lakers. And while I'm on it, this will segue into round 2. But a couple minutes ago, I think the first game just ended. The score is 108-90. OKC win.
Yep. So, OKC is continuing that dominance into the Western Conference.
Yeah, like Lakers fans, like, I know they're a dime a dozen, and I know Luka's going to come back eventually, but I still think OKC takes a series, maybe up to 6. But I'm going to be honest, I'm not really afraid of the Lakers team at the moment. Reeves is still warming up from his injury. Luka, I would imagine, comes back after like game 3. It depends on how game 2 goes, maybe. I don't know. And I mean, OKC has just been seemed unstoppable. They have the most well-rounded. They have depth for Miles. They have at least decent, like, top 75 player, top 50, I'll say top 50 player in their starting lineup. So they don't have any weakness. They can still move on. Now, Spurs Wolves, I watched that game last night, or at least I watched like the last half of it. Wemby had a fucking nuts night. He had 12 blocks.
12 blocks. Wow.
12 blocks, most in playoff history.
Yeah.
But he sucked a lemon on fucking offense. He shot 0 for 3, 0 for 8 from 3, and I think he only scored like 12 points.
Yeah.
So
not
he
so
did not
great.
he was not good offensively. I think that was just a dud game from him, and I'm sure he's going to do better offensively in the future. Will he have another 12 block game? Probably not, but he's going to keep the blocks up and still be a menace on defense. And the other Spurs players, they did fine, but Anthony Edwards came back, and I'm sure they weren't expecting that, and he kind of popped off. And I mean, I don't know. The Timberwolves have a fight in them. They fucking have a fight in them, and the roster is pretty decent, and they match up well against any team that has. They match up pretty well against any team that has like a star center, I think. Although the thing is, Wemby is so tall, I don't think Gobert could do anything to him. Although clearly that did happen because he didn't score that much in the paint either. Well, I mean, okay, well he kind of did. He just shot up so many 3-pointers for no reason at all. But whatever. What are my predictions? I honestly I have Spurs in 7. That's my prediction. I think the Spurs are a better team. I guess playoff experience does have something to do with it.
So you're thinking Spurs over Timberwolves?
I think it's going to be Spurs in 7, yeah.
Spurs in 7.
They'll figure it out. I think they kind of just have to either figure out how to make Wemby score in the paint, or they're just not going to have to rely on him as much on offense. That's what I think has to happen. And also, that freaking bricked game winner from Julian Champagny. I was watching that game as a hater because they beat us. I was watching as a hater, and I'll say I'm happy. I want the Timberwolves to win, but I don't think they can, but I think it's going to be the closest series out of anything in the first round.
My prediction for the Timberwolves Spurs series is I got Minnesota winning in about 6 games. I feel
that's fair.
I feel like they can definitely put in a fight, but I feel like in the end, I think Minnesota might pull it out.
Yeah,
well, we'll see.
If things don't change and Wolves take game 2, then I'm going to change my mind. I don't think they can come back from that deficit, but whatever. On the Eastern side, I'll start with the more straightforward one, which is Knicks 76ers.
Knicks 76ers, okay. Sure.
Personally, I did not watch that game, but I saw that the Knicks won by like 30 points or whatever it was, continuing their streak of crazy fucking box scores. So
I'm sorry, I will put this out here first. I got New York winning in 5.
Oh, I have that too. New York in 5, absolutely.
Oh, let's go.
Listen, I'm just as a fan, I'm kind of torn if I want to root for the Knicks because yes, they haven't won a championship in like 70 years, stuff like that. But also, I'm kind of crushed about that Hawks series, and also I kind of
because CJ and all and that gang.
This is just a vibe based comment. Knicks kind of give me that vibe of like the principal's kid, who's kind of a dick because their big market kind of gets everything goes their way.
Yeah, true.
Also, I don't like the New York fans, but I'm sorry, New York fans.
That's fair.
I like all fans, but the really obnoxious ones I don't like.
I mean, you could say the same thing for like a big fan base I really don't care for when it comes to different sport, at least for football, is Philadelphia. They're way too crazy for me.
I mean, listen, any fan base that has historic success, such as the Lakers, are inherently a bit boastful, or bashful. I don't know what the word is.
They're humble.
Well, there's the opposite of humble. That's what I mean.
Okay. Yeah. Arrogant?
Well, yeah, arrogant. Like, that's why I say Lakers fans, because they've had all the stars players. They have the second most championships, stuff like that. So, I mean, that's just in the fan base. But yes, I have New York in 5.
New York in 5. As much as I like seeing Philly, and Joel Embiid out for blood in the water, I think New York's got them locked down.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure most Philly fans have accepted that they've had their moment. Although, I mean, I came into the playoffs thinking the Celtics were a better team than the Knicks, but so far I'm being proven wrong. All right, and
Pistons, Cavs.
Pistons, Cavs. I probably got Pistons in 5 or 6.
I got Pistons in 6. I think.
Yeah, Pistons in 6.
I think. Well, actually, I'm gonna change it to 5 because James Harden's such a liability when it comes to defense in the playoffs, and I don't know. I don't know if you saw last game, but I saw a tweet just a few hours ago saying that he's leading in, I think, turnovers in the playoffs as we are currently recording this.
I did see a tweet. I don't know if it was parody, but I saw a tweet that was like, James Harden now has like 4,000 turnovers in his career. I'm like,
oh my god.
It's like not something to celebrate about during
no. That's why I think I got Pistons in 5.
Yeah, and Pistons 5. I'm sure that the Pistons are gonna warm up. Like, they came back 3-1, so they're warm already, and I don't see them unless if something happens, of course. I don't see them really cooling down. Yeah. So Pistons are gonna win pretty easily, I think. It's either gonna be 5 or 6. 5 or 6. I'll join you and say 5.
Okay. And then I'll do my take on. I forgot to do my take on Thunder Lakers. My take real quick before we close out of here. For Thunder Lakers, I got Thunder in 4.
All right. Well, I'll say that maybe Luke comes back and they win one desperate game when it's 3-0.
Okay.
That one desperation game. That's what I'll say. They'll be at home by that point. So, but yeah, I mean, if the Lakers can somehow do it, then I'll be happy for them, I suppose. Yeah. Although I'm gonna be honest, I think I want to root for OKC. I kind of want to root for OKC.
Yeah, true, very true. And I saw something pretty funny from First Take with Stephen A. Smith and somebody else that he was talking with on there. They had an argument where they're like, LeBron would tie Jordan in rings, and I'm like, what do you mean? That would be his 5th.
No. He would have to win 2 rings.
Yeah, that would be his 5th. And then the other guy joked and said there would be 2 extra rings in the household because of Bronny.
That's good.
I was like, yeah, technically you probably could call it the GOAT, since that
would definitely be a one and only, I bet, if a father and son ring.
Yeah.
Hey, like I said, if it somehow happens and the Lakers can make it all the way to the final, good on them.
Yes, definitely.
That would be the story of a century in the NBA.
Yes, definitely.
But, no, I think the Thunder, I feel like, have plot armor in a sense. Not really.
They're basically,
despite what all the Lakers fans say, but whatever.
I'll put this into Marvel context.
Explain in Marvel terms.
Marvel terms, the Thunder are like the Thanos of the NBA at the moment. With one snap of the finger, they could just automatically probably eliminate that team.
Yeah, and I mean, like the game that happened today that just finished saw that the game was actually pretty close for most of it, but the Lakers never really took a lead. And Thunder won by 18. So unless the Lakers make major adjustments, I don't see things really changing.
I mean, another thing is, after the game was over, Lakers had another injury to their roster. Injured. This time it was Jared Vanderbilt. He injured his pinky in a pretty gruesome battle. His pinky. And so we don't know how long he'll be out for. They'll probably announce that sometime tomorrow or the day after. But it's just another blow for the Lakers, and that's why the Thunder is the Thanos of the league, and one snap of the finger and you're eliminated.
And they said that about the Pacers last year.
Yeah,
but of course that went to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I mean, The future's not good for the Lakers. They're either gonna get rid of Bron this offseason or he's gonna retire, which I don't think is gonna happen. He won't retire.
I think he's waiting for another season or so to play with his other son Bryce. I think that's one of the reasons why I think he's still waiting, but also he probably wants to win one more ring.
I thought Bryce wasn't entering the league until like 2027, or is it this year?
No, I think it's 27. So that's why I say
that would be 2 more years at least.
Yeah, so I can see.
I don't. Would he go that long? At that point, he'd be going for the oldest NBA player ever.
True.
Which that's like 3 years away. Whatever.
Well, Vince Carter played in the league until he was what, 45, maybe 42.
I'm gonna do a quick Google. Oldest NBA player. Oldest NBA player
to play.
Nat Hickey, I guess. Oh, Vince Carter was 43.
40.
So that would be 2 more years for Braun.
Okay.
So I mean, you're right. Maybe it could happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it will. I think he only has one more season. But
one of two things will happen: is either he waits 2 more seasons to play with Bryce, or he goes to a team that's actually more efficiently built around. He takes, backseat like he's currently doing with this current Lakers roster, and he just goes and wins himself one last chip. That's how I see his current play now.
That's what I feel like the whole either the Cavs just sign him or like the Lakers sign him for a cheaper deal that he's willing to accept or whatnot, and then he's traded. I feel like I don't think it's gonna happen, but that would be like his best possible ending if there's no consequences. Cavs are a great team. It's his hometown. It would make for the most glorious farewell tour of all time, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, where you started your career and where it could end. I mean, I could also see LeBron going back to Miami, maybe. Miami seems to have a decently team built there too.
Yeah, I mean, they're not a championship team by any means.
True.
For them, I guess if he doesn't want to chase another ring, then whatever.
Yeah, but we'll have to see.
Well, we will see. On here.
And we'll come back more with obviously more NBA playoff updates and so forth, so on, and we'll also see our takeaways next episode of the NBA draft lottery and kind of grade on which team did the best, which team did the worst.
Well, I mean, they have no control, but whoever has the best outlook, I suppose, like a mock draft type of deal, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, we'll roll the dice, I guess.
Roll the dice, exactly.
I'm rooting for, well, the Blazers aren't in the lottery. Who do I want to get a good pick?
Not the Bulls, I'll tell you that much.
Well, I mean, the Bulls aren't in the lottery. Well, oh, yeah, you're right. The Bulls are in the lottery, but not with our pick specifically.
No.
I will hate watch the Bulls, I'll probably root for a team like the Pacers, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Pacers is a good team to look out for. Sacramento also.
Let me go on Tinkathon real quick.
Would be a good loco.
Just for funsies, before I end it, I'm gonna do a roll on Tinkathon just for fun. And I'm on in mind, Chicago goes up to 2. I will see you on Sunday where the Bulls will not go up to 2. I hope I did not just speak that into existence.
Hopefully not. I don't think it will.
All right, whatever. All right, okay, I'm just being dumb here, but that's all we have planned for today.
That's all we have planned for today. Thank you, wonderful listeners, for listening. And to this edition of the second round of the NBA playoffs, we will be back for what possibly will be, not just the draft lottery, but also the conference finals for both, and to give our takeaway of who's going to punch their ticket to win it all. So stay tuned for that.
We got several teams that with a great outlook of getting their first championship in a while.
Yes, Pistons would be first since 2004.
Pistons, Knicks, Wolves,
since 73. Wolves would be interesting because they have never won a championship. They have never won a title, so it would be interesting.
Their path is quite steep, but
and then you got
they'll win the whole thing. Honestly,
at this point. You got OKC going back to back, so who knows?
OKC go back to back? Can Braun pull off the upset end the Cinderella story? Can the Cavs not choke it for once? A lot of questions to be answered.
Yes. So we'll see what happens, wonderful viewers. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Dak.
And I am Oliver.
And we'll see you guys next time for another edition of the OG Sportscast.
Bye-bye.
Bye.